Y'all know the saying that people say, they say, give people their flowers while they can still smell them, right? It's a saying that basically is like, hey, before you wait to honor somebody with a sign, with a statue, with whatever you want to do to honor this person, do it before they die. Do it before it's too late. Do it while they can still appreciate it and you're not just saying it to their grave, right? Tell people what you think about them while they're still alive. That's, to me, that's basically what that saying says. And South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina just gave Dawn Staley a whole statue, giving her her flowers. And honestly, guys, I think it is about time. I think this is pretty awesome. So let's talk about what just happened this week over in South Carolina, why it matters, and why this is not just a moment, okay? I think this is just huge for overall for women's sports. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, let's talk about the statue built for a legend. Right in the heart of Columbia at a, what I've seen is like a pretty major intersection, is a 14-foot tall, 2,000 pound, that's really heavy, bronze statue of Coach Dawn Staley. It stands there. It shows her holding a basketball net, proudly standing on a ladder. It's a moment that is frozen in time. Like she just cut down the net after winning another national championship. And if you know Dawn Staley, she has done that thing where she has been standing on the ladder, holding up the net. She's done that 3 times. 3 championships, 7 Final Fours, 9 SEC tournament titles, a 457 win, 110 loss record, which is crazy good. And probably the most, actually, no, not probably, the most dominant women's basketball program of the last decade. Now, that is a bona fide fact. If you look at the championships that South Carolina has won in the last decade, you look at their record, you look at all that other stuff, and you compare it to any other women's basketball team in the last decade. Yeah, it is South Carolina. Now, as a whole, it's UConn, but in the last decade, it is South Carolina. And you know, South Carolina wanted to honor that. They wanted to honor that, and I think that's kind of cool. I do. But here's the thing: it was never about a statue. The wild part is that Dawn Staley didn't even want a statue. When the idea came up, Dawn was like, "Nah, no." She didn't think she needed it. Didn't think it was necessary for her to have a statue. And well, technically, no, it's not. It's never necessary for anybody to have a statue. Necessary is not the thing. That's not the issue. But when she heard that the stat was that, I think it was like less than 6% of statues in the U.S. are of women, that kind of changed her mind. Only 1% of women in sports have a statue. She changed her mind. Not just for her, but for, you know, who she imagines like as the little girl who's gonna walk by one day, way in the future, who will not know who she is, right? You know, that little girl way in the future will look up Dawn Staley, you know, and Dawn Staley's hope be inspired by her, right? And I think that's a huge reason as to why Dawn was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do the statue. At least that's what she said. That's what she's saying. You know, let's do the statue. Let's make it happen. So let's talk about the location and legacy. This was not just placed in a random spot. This isn't just in a random spot in front of Colonial Life Arena. No, Dawn Staley did not want to be in the front of Colonial Life Arena. She didn't want that because what's in front of Colonial Life Arena? The CLA where South Carolina plays? Well, that's Asia Wilson's statue. That's standing right there. And Dawn was like, actually, nah. The space in front, it goes to the players, not me. So her statue was put somewhere where, you know, people can look at it, but not in what I would call the most prominent place in for the CLA, right? It's near the State House, near South Carolina's Alumni Center. It is visible to people, you know, and it's intentionally put there, not in front of the CLA, but nearby, still what people can recognize and see it and whatnot, but not taking the place of prominence in the midst of players. Or at least that's kind of what Dawn Staley wanted, right? That's what she wanted. That's what she said she wanted. And the mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, was like, you know what? Dawn Staley has meant so much to the city of Columbia, the state of South Carolina, the game of women's basketball, that he was like, you know what? I think we shouldn't just honor Dawn Staley with a statue. Because the statue is cool. The statue is very, very cool. But I'm going to do one better. I'm going to declare May as Dawn Staley Month. Dawn Staley Month, guys. So we saw flowers, placed in honor of Dawn's mother. Dawn had a playlist for everybody to listen to. And a lot of people, from fans, former players, and fellow coaches, showed up to honor the legend, celebrate the statue, and just say thank you to Dawn Staley for what she has meant to the game of women's basketball and to Columbia, South Carolina. Because this is not just about wins, it's not just about banners, it's about legacy. And Dawn Staley has changed Columbia, South Carolina. She's changed the South Carolina Gamecocks for forever. And she made it more possible for other former players to get into coaching and build their way up to the top of the game. And I think it's kind of cool. I do think that is kind of cool, right? Dawn is involved, right? Remember, guys, she's an investor in a rival, right? She has been involved in trying to make a future for women's basketball players in the NCAA through the players she's mentoring, through the award that she gives every year, the Dawn Staley Award, that goes to I believe it's the best point guard, the best point guard in the country. There's so many things that Dawn Staley has done, and sure, is she perfect? Nah, dog. Nobody's perfect, but I think it's cool. Again, give people their flowers while they can smell them. Tell people what you think about them while they can hear it. I say that sometimes at the end of streams, at the end of videos, because I truly mean it. I feel like a lot of times people don't say, people don't say stuff, right? Say it. Tell people that they matter. Do gestures for people that you would do when they're gone. Do it while they're alive. Do it. Now the spotlight on Dawn Staley is permanent. It is pretty much permanent. So yeah, this isn't just a cool statue. This is a movement of sorts. The rise of women's basketball is here. The rise of women's sports is here. And this is a signal that, hey, there's a whole lot more women who are going to be standing at the top of ladders as coaches, as players, excited about whatever they have accomplished next. So shout out to Coach Dawn Staley, someone who has made history, someone who not only played the game at an elite level, but is coaching the game at an elite level and is teaching the next generation to do their thing. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Now, whenever I go to South Carolina, I gotta stop by. I gotta stop by the CLA. I gotta see the Asia Wilson statue. I gotta see the Dawn Staley statue. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool, and I just think it's kind of wild that South Carolina is doing so much, doing so much to just show love to what their basketball team is doing. I don't follow the rest of South Carolina sports, so I don't know in terms of how many other statues exist on South Carolina's campus, but I think it's kind of cool that they're doing this. Well, Rostam doesn't like that I'm not dragging time talking about statue. I mean, I wanted to talk about this, and so I'm talking about this. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. If you don't want to hear about this, then turn off the YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Row 2. Thanks so much for the comment. Says some people miss the picture of this moment, bringing eyes to women's sports and basketball, which was what Coach Dawn is about, lifting up women's sports. Yeah, she's focused on lifting up women's sports. But again, that's what she says. I feel like she says it all the time. All right. Thank you so much, James, for the super chat. Man, James is on a roll today. James on a roll for today. Says thanks for the updates, Facts Lady. I appreciate it. Oh, I gave another super chat. James, I appreciate you. Mr. Moneybags today. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your support. Okay. Okay. And then also a lot of people are noting about the hat that Dawn is wearing on the statue. I'm not sure exactly what it says on the hat. However, I think it looks kind of, I don't know. I think the hat kind of throws everything off personally, my opinion. But however, when people have statues made of them, usually they approve everything. And so, Peg says the hat says champions. Okay. The hat says champions. But yeah, overall, I think it would have been better if she didn't have the hat on. However, maybe she told them to put the hat on. Maybe that's what she told them to do, I don't know. But yeah, I personally, I would have preferred it without the hat. However, it's Dawn Staley's statue. If that's what she wanted, that's what she wanted. It is what it is. But yeah, I do think that like it will be a little bit hard for people to just like notice who that is right off the bat because of the hat. Whereas I feel like if it wasn't a hat on, like even from afar, without even reading the inscription, you would know that it's Dawn Staley. It says at least it ain't a jumbo Eagles hat. She's a huge Eagles fan. Like she is huge Eagles fan. Amanzia says the hat was in a pic she took after they won. So they're recreating a photo. Again, I don't know. I'm not the hugest fan of the hat. However, hey, dog, it's it is Dawn Staley's statue, and overall it looks really good. I also like, guys, look at the design. Do y'all see the detail in like that jacket design? I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's officially move on. So whoever that person was, we're moving on. Not because you said so, because I actually really do need to move on so I can. Let's get to y'all super chats. Thank you so much, KB, for the super chat. Says a university where their predecessors couldn't even set foot on campus now houses the statues of Asia and Dawn. That's about more than basketball. If you know, you know. Yeah. I believe when I believe I distinctly remember this. When Asia Wilson had her unveiling of her statue, she was talking about how, was it her grandparents or something like that, where like they couldn't even, like they weren't welcome in that area. And now, their granddaughter is, not only being honored by a university that they couldn't even, step foot on, but is being honored with the statue. Like again, it is more than just basketball. Yes, I really do focus on the basketball side of it, but it is more than that. It is more than just that. Okay. So thank you, KB, for bringing that up. Thank you. Okay, it was her grandma. Thank you, timeout. It was her grandma that she said that about. Yeah, I remember her talking about that, and I was like, oh man. But yeah, thank you, KB. Like, here's the deal. Sometimes I miss comments when y'all are writing it in the chat. But when y'all do a super chat, that can actually like specifically just focus on your comment. And KB, thank you so much for saying this comment. Like you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right with that statement, because it really is more than just basketball. So thank you for saying that and sharing that with us. Putting the perspective a little bit wider than just the sole basketball focus. I like that. I really do appreciate that. Jessica, thank you so much for the super chat. Says that legendary silk press deserves to be seen. Yes, cause y'all, she used to be flat out in her hair like that. Like she now Dawn Staley rocks the braids and whatnot, and they look good. They some good looking braids. But I'm just saying, like she used to flat out in her hair. Like she was that hair. I think I'm saying hair. Like that, that was, Dawn Staley has gone through some looks, she has gone through some looks, that's for sure. And they've all been really good looks, but I'm just saying, like the braids, that's more of my vibe, because as you can see, I wear braids. Cause those, when you get the silk press, you flat iron your hair out and all that good stuff, like that's a lot of upkeep. That's a lot of upkeep and a lot of heat on your hair. So like, the protective style of the braids, it works well. It works well, guys. It works well. Anyway, random bit of information. Anyway, Jessica, thanks so much again for the super chat. Says that legendary silk press deserves to be seen. The only thing they're missing is Champ. Thanks for being my ESPN. Thank you so much, Jessica. And for those who are like, the only thing they're missing is Champ. What is Champ? Who is Champ? Champ is Dawn Staley's dog. Her dog is so adorable. That dog is literally everywhere. When I see clips of Dawn Staley anywhere, out and about, she could be at practice, she could be walking around in South Carolina, whatever she is doing, whatever she is doing, that dog, Champ, is with her. Like, that dog is very adorable.